Good morning, especially to the Rohingya who are watching from Washington, D.C. I spoke last year at this same event, and as I reflect on the situation of the Rohingya a year later, I'm focusing on three emotions: frustration, hope, and gratitude. I don't want to use these words in a trite sense, but I think together they can help motivate more international solidarity and response to what is happening in Myanmar and to the Rohingya. Frustration. I feel deep frustration again towards the international community. Despite many efforts by well-intentioned humanitarian workers and others, the regime for refugees and displaced persons remains exceedingly inadequate in upholding the most minimum conditions of human dignity. In 2017 and before, hundreds of thousands of Rohingya fled extreme violence to end up in refugee camps or with irregular status in countries where their rights continue to be infringed. They cannot attend schools or seek livelihoods. They are profoundly traumatized, and women and girls continue to struggle to avoid sexual exploitation and violence. Every couple of months, it seems, there are fires and flooding that devastate parts of the refugee camps in Bangladesh. The complacent international community allowed the warehousing of Rohingya on Bhasanchar Island, where refugees are vulnerable to natural disasters and physical insecurity. It is absurd that this international response keeps people in misery when countless humanitarian experts and activists have identified alternative ways to spend humanitarian funds so that the Rohingya can live with more dignity and, as a consequence, support themselves and benefit surrounding communities. And since the February coup, while the risks for the Rohingya become more urgent, the international community's response has not been sufficient to restrain the military and help negotiate an acceptable way forward for the country. Hope. Last year at this event, I spoke about how I believe that the most crucial factor in securing rights for the Rohingya in Myanmar were the efforts of Burmese citizens inside the country to advocate for equality and recognition for equal rights for all minorities, including the Rohingya. A year ago, a shift in public consciousness this way seemed like a long way off. But since the coup, as I imagine some of you have seen, the extent of Burmese support for equal rights has really been stunning. The National Unity Government has articulated an inclusive democratic vision, and prominent representatives have supported justice and repatriation for the Rohingya. Many have issued apologies to the Rohingya for not doing more to protect and stand up for you in the past. Gratitude. Much has been said and written about the urgent needs of the Rohingya inside and outside Myanmar. Fulfilling these needs requires us to embrace your full humanity and channel the resources accordingly. But doing that means recognizing that Myanmar and the rest of the world also needs the Rohingya, because Rohingya activism, which has translated into the legal cases at the ICJ, the International Criminal Court, Argentina, other international bodies, has played a significant role in awakening and shaping recent Burmese activism for democracy and inclusion in Myanmar. Numerous Burmese activists today now speak with eloquence and authority about rule of law and human rights. Their example, in turn, helps to sustain international commitment to democratic norms in Asia, in the West, and other troubled places. So, our freedom has been enhanced by Rohingya's persistent demands for justice and equality. And I thank you for that. And I also thank you for your music, your art, your poetry, your writing, your entrepreneurship, and your outreach. Your survival amidst these harsh conditions demonstrates and is a source of strength. So with frustration for the international community's own lack of accountability, but also with hope and gratitude, the international community must do nothing less than acknowledge genocide and renew and revitalize our solidarity and support for the Rohingya and equal rights for all in Myanmar. Thank you.